Howdy, my name is Faye, and I'm here to discuss a ESL method in our strategy known as Concept, Ideas, and Thinking Map. So the purpose of this ESL strategy is to illustrate the relationships and differences between multiple concepts and ideas visually. It is a graphic organizer that can support, expand, and organize a student's knowledge and understanding of the content area while developing their cognitive performance. From a language acquisition standpoint, the strategy can assist a ELL's learning and comprehension of the language and promotes the following: verb, vocabulary, and grammar. Additionally, the use of the concept idea thinking map results in a meaningful learning experience and connections for the ELL in both language and content. We will be using this strategy for our second grade science. The following will be the TEKS, content objectives, the ELPS, and also finally the language objectives. First, the TEKS. From 2.10b, observe, record, and compare how the physical characteristics of plants help them meet the basic needs, such as the stems carry water through the plants. The content objective, I can demonstrate comprehension of the plant's physical parts and basic needs on a concept map. From the ELPS, listening, C2C, learning new language heard in classroom interactions and instruction. C2D, monitor understanding and seeking clarification. C2E, use visual contextual linguistic support to confirm and enhance understanding. Speaking, C3D, speaking using grade level content area vocabulary. C3E, sharing the cooperative groups. C3G, express opinions, ideas, and feelings. And finally, writing. C5B, writing using newly acquired vocabulary. C5E, employing complex grammatical structures. C5G, narrative, describe, and explain in writing. Finally, the language objective. I can orally and in writing explain the physical parts of the plant and its basic needs. So in order to demonstrate this strategy, you'll need the following materials: something to write with, such as a marker, pen, pencil, etc., a sheet to write on, copy paper, butcher paper, white, chalkboard, depends. It depends on what you're using it for, such as are you using it for a whole group instruction, something you're going to use it for a small group, or are the students are doing this individually. And finally, some sort of graphic organizer template of this strategy. Especially if does have a sentence frame, some sort of sentence starter for our lower proficiency levels ELLs. Now we'll be going over the basic steps for using this strategy. To start, we will begin with the main idea, prompt, topic, concept, issue. You gotta start with something to focus on. This can be done by figuring out the content of the map through a question or simply writing a word that summarizes the whole content's main concept. For the simple activity, we will create a concept map over a plant's basic needs and physical characteristics. Next step, determine the key or sub-concepts that relate to the main topic. Remember that the concept idea thinking map starts with the inclusive general concepts first, before becoming smaller yet specific. The educator can consider using sentence frames and starters in order to provide a established structure ELL can go by, especially if this is their first time using this strategy. Additionally, having a vocabulary word bank for the particular content focus can also be included, as it avoids misspelling and a lack of thought from the students. Through a whole class or group discussion, we may say words like leaves or sunlight that relate to the main topic. Have the sub-concepts presented once it has been stated. Third step, use lines or arrows to demonstrate the connection between the concepts from one another. Remind the students that when you're using a line or arrow, you are creating a sentence between the concepts. For example, if you draw an arrow from plant to sunlight, you need to specify what the relationship is from one another. From the simple activity, since we now have plants, leaves, and sunlight, we can now connect the plant to one another. So we can put plant to leaves, and the connection have it, and we can say plant has leaves. If we connect the plant to the sunlight, then we can say plant needs sunlight. Next step, continue to discuss other concepts that relate to the main one, as well as determine what connections do they have from one another. Allow the ELLs to branch out of the vocabulary word bank through their prior knowledge and experience, thus prompting them to make their concept map unique from one another. Final step, Once all the students have a chance to add and link multiple concepts from the example and from their prior knowledge, if possible, have them discuss among their peers into the whole group to assess their comprehension over the content and recognize their language development through this portion of the activity. So, utilizing the concept idea thinking maps for ELL is appropriate for their development in English language proficiency, for it identifies the gaps in their academic understanding and language development. This strategy is able to cover all language domains, different from differentiating a ELL with high language proficiency from another with low language proficiency, increase participation in the classroom, the opportunity to really create a visual representation of their knowledge and thinking process, and build connections from prior knowledge and experience to new content. From the second language acquisition theory, Karazen state that differences between acquisition and learning through the acquisition-learning hypothesis. This strategy is used to create meaning to the information as each concept is connected to one another in some way possible. Therefore, the use of the concept idea thinking maps allows educators to recognize whether the ELL is able to make connections and meaning to the content information given to them through a visual communication.